let's talk about that AFC Championship. And boy, what a matchup it is. We have Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots. And what a turnaround that has been for this team over the past year, heading to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton. And no, not Bo Nix. It is backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham who is getting the nod at quarterback. So although the Denver Broncos are home underdogs, Sean Payton says Jarrett Stidham is just going to let it rip. These two teams are no strangers when it comes to meeting in the postseason, although Denver, they have a 4-1 record over the Patriots in the postseason, including a perfect 4-0 record at home. Now for a further preview, let's send things over to Tiffany Blackman and Rand Carthon. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Jacqueline, thanks. And we're going to let it rip here, Rand. I mean, there's nothing better than Championship Sunday. And, of course, that Broncos and Patriots matchup. We've got you here with us, and we've also got Damien Harris, who is joining us here to try to break down this matchup that's going on. Of course, you can watch that at 3 p.m. Eastern on CBS and, of course, on Paramount+. Okay, we know, guys, no Bo Nix in this matchup because of that ankle fracture. It's going to be the backup, as we heard Jacqueline say, in Jarrett Stidham. And Sean Payton's message, he likes to talk. I think we all know that, right? His message this week to their fans was that they would have plenty of time to rest and recharge. They'd have 2 weeks to be exact because they're going to be at the Super Bowl. So he's already calling his shot. Can Stidham get them there, Rand?
I think there's a world where Stidham can get them there. I mean, he's a good, solid, quality backup quarterback to the point when my first year as GM of the Tennessee Titans in 2023, I tried to sign him to Tennessee, to come to Tennessee and be the backup there. But obviously he chose to go to Denver. But he can get it done, and he'll have to get it done with the complement of players around him and really lean on that running game. But if you know Sean Payton's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. He's going to have a nice game plan together. He's going to talk that he's just going to let it rip. But I can pretty much assure you he's not going to let him throw the ball as many times as he would let Bo Nix throw the football.
Man, first of all, why the hell did the Denver Broncos come and steal Ben DiNucci from CBS Sports HQ just not to start the guy? I mean, can we start with that? I think that's BS. I think that's BS. DiNucci should be starting. But anyways, on a more serious note, can Stidham get this done? I think that Rand had a lot of great points in terms of leaning on the help that he has. I mean, Bo Nix didn't get to the AFC Championship game by himself. It was the defense. It was guys like Courtland Sutton. It was a lot of different pieces that were a part of this puzzle that all came together. So I think Stid is capable. I mean, to Rand's point again, he can play quarterback. He can throw the football around. And I think one thing to notice, I mean, Stid played wide receiver in high school, and obviously he ain't gonna be catching no balls this weekend, but that does add the fact that he can use his legs and he can run, and that can be another element if the passing game doesn't open up to him early and often. So can he get it done? I think yes, with the help of leaning on that defense, some of those guys he has outside, of course. And then with Sean Payton, he'll have the Broncos situationally prepared for any situation that'll come up in the game.
I'm glad you mentioned the defense. We'll get to that in just a minute. But let's talk about what the bigger deal here is in this one. The Patriots are 0-4 all-time in Denver in the postseason. Or is it Jarrett Stidham, getting the start in this one? His record as a starter, by the way, 1-3. And might I add, I was working his first ever NFL start as a starting quarterback. That was back in Week 17 in 2023. So what's the bigger deal here then?
I would say for me, it's the fact that Jarrett Stidham is starting, because like Dame said, it was Bo Nix that got Bo Nix and the defense that got the Denver Broncos this far along. And that record, that's a historical record. None of these guys that are currently on this New England Patriots team had anything to do with those previous 3 losses. And so with this group, especially being led by Vrabel, these are the things that Mike will hone on during this week. These guys will come out and they will play with a no-nonsense mentality, that mentality of leave it all on the field. There is no tomorrow. And like Sean was saying, if we leave it all on the field, we have 2 weeks to recover. And if you're the Patriots, that's the way you're going to go out and play. And I truly believe that Mike Vrabel, the way his game plan is going to look, that defense is taught to build a wall. That's why they're so good in the run game. They will stack the box and say, hey, Jarrett Stidham, you beat us. And if you beat us, great. But it won't be these other guys that you have at your disposal.
All right, Damien, I'm going to ask you this. So behind Dan Marino, Drake Maye can become the second youngest QB to start in a Super Bowl, and his coach, Mike Vrabel, can become the 8th head coach to reach a Super Bowl in his first season. So do you think this duo can get it done, Damien?
Well, I absolutely do. I mean, you look at the way Mike Vrabel has coached this team all year, the way the team has responded, the way they've showed up and played. And obviously, nobody's played greater for this team than Drake Maye. I mean, he's been very consistent all year. He's played at a high level. The only thing that plagues him is turnovers and ball security. But outside of that, you want to talk about completion percentage, yards, touchdown to interception ratio. He's done a phenomenal job at leading this team, first and foremost by example, because he does have that blue collar mentality. He's just an old country boy, and he comes in, he brings his hard hat to work and his lunch pail, and he goes to work, and he shows up every day just trying to be his best, because in New England, that's all that's required. You don't have to go out and do this or throw for this many yards or whatever. You just have to show up and do your job, and that's been the message in New England for a long time, since before Bill Belichick was there, back when Bill Parcells was there, and that's trickled all the way down to Mike Vrabel, because we know about his career with the Patriots. So he still has that mindset. Drake Maye, obviously, with the talent that he has, along with the mindset and the dedication to just show up, and like Rand said, not leave any stone unturned, leave everything on the field and play every game like it's your last. I mean, essentially, they've been doing that all season long. So can they get it done? Absolutely. And I'll say this, if they do get it done, and if Drake Maye gets to the Super Bowl, we're going to have to start having a little bit different conversation about who are the top dogs at quarterback position in the National Football League. Because last time I checked, a guy like Josh Allen, who's in that tier 1 with, you know, Joe, Lamar, Pat, he's never made it to a Super Bowl. Don't be mad at me. I'm just speaking facts as of what have you done for me now in business. If Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel get to the Super Bowl, Drake Maye's got to be in that conversation of tier 1 going into next year.
Well, let's talk more about that relationship, because, Rand, you have experience with Vrabel, who was the head coach back in Tennessee. You were the GM then. Can you give us some insight into maybe how his relationship with a starting quarterback, how does that play out, and how could it help them in this case?
Well, the one thing that I've always admired and respected about Mike and the way he approaches coaching just the entire team, he is involved. And Mike is in the drill. He's got helmet on. He's got a pad. He's running down on kickoffs. He's doing all these things because he's a part of it. And he is about as knowledgeable of a coach that I've ever been around through all my years of playing football. He has an understanding of everything. But the way he coaches, helps coach the quarterback position, because he is a defensive guy, he can give these guys tips and things like, all right, look, you're tipping this right here. Like if I was defending that, I would know that this is either run or pass based on these couple things. So he can help with the nuance of the game. And Mike Vrabel, as a situational coach, I don't think there's anybody better in the league, and a lot of that goes to his knowledge, and that knowledge he's able to pass on to these quarterbacks. The best thing Mike Vrabel did when he got this job was to bring Josh McDaniels back as the offensive coordinator. He had experience as a player seeing Josh McDaniels coordinate the teams that he played on and the work that they put in with Tom Brady and some of the other quarterbacks, and he was able to bring that along with himself to help the young Drake Maye take the ascension that he's on.
How many tips do you think he's going to be giving Drake Maye this weekend up against that Denver Broncos defense and that pass rush? They have 71 sacks combined in the regular and postseason, and the Patriots have allowed 58 sacks this season. Damien, can Drake Maye survive this Denver defense?
Well, they can, but they got to keep him clean. And I know you talk about, you know, how is he going to handle this pass rush of the Denver Broncos? But if I know anything about Josh McDaniels, the message isn't just to the quarterback. It's to the running backs, to the tight ends who are going to have to chip. Sometimes it's going to have to be a wide receiver. Listen, all 11 guys are going to have to take a turn taking shots at these guys on the edge and up front for the Denver Broncos, because if you just let them go one-on-one with your 5 or 4-on-5 with your offensive line, that's usually when they get their most production. And in terms of when you see this Patriots offense struggle, it's when Drake Maye is sacked. It's when he's pressured. I mean, as terrible as C.J. Stroud played in the game last weekend, the fact that the Houston Texans still had a chance to win that football game, they were maybe 2 or 3 good plays away from winning, that tells you something. It's not because the Patriots aren't able to score points and they're not able to separate, but it's because when you have a good defense that can get after the passer and get after Drake Maye, one, getting pressure on him, it takes this rhythm out of this offense out of a rhythm. And number two, he has shown the ability to put the football on the ground. So if the Patriots are going to be able to get this done, they're going to have to stop this pass rush. And what's worse for that is you've got the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the back end. So even if you do get past the pass rush, then you got some guys in the secondary that can make some plays, as we saw in the Buffalo Bills game. So it's going to be tough sledding for this Patriots offense. But to Rand's point, bringing back Josh McDaniels, that was the perfect move for Mike Vrabel. And if there was any offensive coordinator I trusted going into this game against this team in Denver, it'd be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, the one thing, Dame, that I want to add to that is I feel like with this game plan for the New England Patriots are going against such a strong defense, a defense that gets after quarterback. Like Dame said, you have probably the best cover corner in the National Football League. Whoever the Patriots will consider their number one, which I don't think that Patrick Surtain will follow anyone in this game, he's going to shut down one side of the field. To me, the real matchup is who's going to be over Riley Moss. Riley Moss is the most targeted DB in the league this year, and he's gotten quite a few penalty calls. And so that's the matchup I want to see. Who they're going to line up over there? Is it going to be Kayshon Boutte, who's become their vertical threat, a guy they put in a lot of 50-50 ball situations, which is where Riley Moss picks up a lot of penalties. That's what I'm going to watch, especially the earlier part of the game, and see if that's going to be a matchup they're going to exploit. Look at Dame, you shaking your head.
Booty. It better not be booty. Hey, listen.
Goodness. Okay, well, let's sing the praises of the Patriots defense, because they've been pretty big in these previous two games in the playoffs. They've allowed the fewest touchdowns through two playoff games since the 2006 Colts. How will they fare against a backup QB, who we've talked about in Stidham, and the Broncos, Damien?
Well, I think, when we talk about this Patriots defense, right, I think of them in phases. So the first, first maybe 2-3 quarters of the season, they were one of the best defenses in the National Football League against the run. And listen, we know we've got Gonzo and Carlton Davis on the outside, and they can shut down whatever receiver matchup. But this Patriots defense was really, really good at stopping the run, and that's what made it hard to move the ball against this defense. Then in the second half, the back end of the season, they started to give up 150, 180, a lot of yards on the ground. So then we started wondering, will this Patriots defense be able to hold up in the playoffs against some good offenses, right? And I think they heard us talking about that, and quite frankly, they just got pissed off. And look at the way that they've played in these two playoff games. I mean, the abuse of Justin Herbert in the wild card game, the way that they just put C.J. Stroud in a complete vacuum. Now, granted, he was limited with options, but I'm not even sure with a healthy Nico Collins that it would have mattered, because this defense was so good at getting to C.J. Stroud. They were so good at getting pressure on the quarterback. They firmed up against the run again. And then also, like I said, when you've got guys in the secondary that can just play at a high level, shut down the receivers or shut down a half of the field, that's a complete defense. And they're really, really opportunistic in terms of taking the football away. If you put the ball in harm's way, which I'm mentioning this to my homeboy, Jarrett Stidham, if you put the ball in harm's way, this Patriots defense will get it, because Rand Carthon knows tips and overthrows, we got to have them. We got to have them, and the Patriots get them all. And I just think that the tenacity, the hunger. I mean, I'd even go back to the New England Patriots game against the New York Giants. It's the way that they flew around, the way that they arrived to the point of contact with violence, on top of the fact of schematically, foundationally, fundamentally, with Mike Vrabel as the coach, they're always going to be in a position. So this is a really, really tough defense. And instead, he's going to have his hands full.
The one matchup I want to look at, because they're coming into the game just before we came on, Dame, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Mike Vrabel ruled out Harold Landry III from this game, so he'll be out, which he's their leading sack guy and their primary rusher off the edge. And then Carlton Davis is still in concussion protocol. So those are two guys that'll be questionable, or one guy's out, one guy's questionable. That is going to really affect how they're going to approach. But the real matchup to me is going to be the Patriots' interior defensive line against the interior offensive line of the Denver Broncos, and that's just a good-on-good matchup. We're talking about all pros, Pro Bowlers against Pro Bowlers and all pros, and that's going to be a really strong indication, because if you're Jarrett Stidham, you don't want quick pressure up the middle. And so you're really going to have to rely on your interior offensive linemen. And the interior offensive line, and Dame hit this on one of our shows the other week, their two interior defensive linemen, I believe, Damien, correct me if I'm wrong, they're ranked first and third in terms of quick pressure rate. And so in order to keep that and to keep Jarrett Stidham clean from the middle, those interior offensive linemen for the Denver Broncos are going to really have to step up. So that'll be another matchup that I'll be interested in watching.
Let me say this before I get your picks. In the game that I sidelined with Jarrett Stidham when he got that first start, they were still trying to knock on the door to get into the playoffs. The Broncos were. Now, a lot of it was out of their control on the outside, but they did need to win that game. So he's been in these high-pressure situations. They did get the win, didn't get in the playoffs. Rand, we'll start with you. What's the pick?
I love how she just threw it to me first.
I did.
Honestly, I'm picking the Patriots. I will say I'm not overly confident in it, but I'm picking the Patriots just because just what Dame mentioned earlier. Last week, I felt the Houston Texans were going to show up. This defense was going to show up and show out and be the one that just becomes Drake Maye's kryptonite, if you will. But like Dame said, the Patriots defense heard everything we said, and they stepped up, and dare I say, they played better than the Houston Texans defense. And so with this defense playing the way it's playing, Drake Maye taking care of the football, the way he takes care of the football, the way Ramondre Stevenson is running the football. And the elements may come into play here. And so you have a big 230-pound running back, and you have a coach who teaches physicality on both sides of the ball. Right now, that is what's making me lean towards the New England Patriots, so I'm going to go with the Pats.
What say you, Damien?
Well, see, listen, I got ties on both sides here because I don't know if y'all know this, but Jarrett Stidham was actually my first ever quarterback in Richmond, Kentucky for the Richmond 49ers. That was my dog, my quarterback. You know, we went through, we were captains against each other in the Iron Bowl. We got drafted by New England together. We've been friends the whole time. So I got that connection, but at the same time, my loyalty lies with the Pats. I mean, listen, I've said it all year long. Drake Maye is the MVP. He's the most valuable player to his team. And Rand's exactly right. I mean, I think as good as Drake Maye is, they can rely on their defense to win football games. And we haven't said that about the New England Patriots in a very long time. And if that's the case with Drake Maye, with Ramondre Stevenson, then you add in Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, I just think that this is a defensive-led team, and they're going to be too tough to match up with in this game, especially for Stid in his first real action since 2023. Give me the Pats.
See, you gave us all that good stuff about your relationship with him. And
listen,
then
Dame, we've been giving Dame grief. Dame wants to make sure that he can go to Pat's alumni day and be able to.
I see you.
Have I asked Tiffany? Hold on, let me make sure I speak loud and clear to this mic. Ask Rand if I've been wrong.
Oh, has he been wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Look. We're gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you so much, Damien and Rand, for the great insight. And of course, you can catch this showdown between the Broncos and Patriots on Championship Sunday. That is at 3 Eastern on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.